Hey there. Hey there. Hey there. Hey there. Hey there. Welcome to Expressions with E-Soul. I'm your host, E-Soul. When I express myself, sometimes it's in the form of dance, sometimes it's in the form of music, and sometimes it's in the form of art. Anyway, the whole purpose of the show is to get you to express yourself in one of these or many other ways. You will hear, you will see, you will watch different people express themselves. And when they express themselves, I want you to watch how for a moment they get lost in the art that they do. Well, stay tuned to catch an artist.
We won't loot if they don't shoot. First, what we gonna do? Burst like pipes under pressure unless we hold true. Cursed is what we seem to be. Dream of NBA and BET, but barely know my ABCs like lady please. Blame it on the ADD, I'm crazy, at least that's what doctors say to me. Man, but still the drugs don't help me understand. See, as a baby I was tempered with by Uncle Sam. Then he'd rub my hand and tell me how he's proud of me. To be all that I can be until I stand like mighty tree. And to be content with the choices he provided me. Went along unknowingly, excitedly, till I found the truth was deep inside of me. Like, Sammy, why you lied to me? You got me feeling dead inside. I need some time to grieve. Or some fire to fly away like Peter Pan on fairy dust to chariots to carry us to higher ground. Hey, I'm free of chains, yet I'm Zion bound. See, I've come to start a riot that can't quiet down. Cause heavy is the head that fits inside the crown. Cause even I was lost, but now I'm found. Why me? Why me?
It's time to fight the one. See what's right to do about the what they done. We got it, but each and every moment I swear they want to drop the money. Drop the money. Drop the money. Drop the money. Drop the money.
Run the devil, we retreat. Fire beyond the moon and the data ready we fight to take the world and for them already we.
Sirens red alert, signal this is not a threat. The trace and there is not a mind, but a line. Shoot the shame to real, cause when them get no dirty in mind.
and the other blocks flowers. Now and you don't want to come up with all the power. Raise it in the sky, but John Babylon. Yeah, cause when the beast comes.
Soul brother, are you a soul brother or a soul brother? Why, if so, brother, I know. These streets out here so cold, brother, even in the midst of July, wrapped in old covers. You couldn't stay warm if you had on the stove oven. Coming from a place that there's literally no love in. So shout out to the ones who say they do, but they wouldn't hand you a dough if you asked them to hold something. Find yourself working overtime like the devil do. 25-8 and still ain't made your way to level 2. Find yourself doing things that you said you would never do. And find yourself putting the wrong people on the pedestal, breaking your back. For those who wouldn't push a wheelchair, them fell down. Shh. Look around. Who's still there? Cause those the real ones. The rest ain't friendly. Food for thought, 4 quarters the same as 100 pennies. So keep pushing on, keep pushing on, keep pushing on. Keep on pushing on. You gotta keep on pushing on. You gotta keep on pushing. Keep pushing on. Keep pushing on. Keep pushing on. Keep on pushing on. You gotta keep on pushing on. You gotta keep on pushing. When left got right. Face death, found life is complicated. My conversation ain't dominated by outright lies. No surprise if I never get nominated. They rock with me. The rest of y'all get tolerated. Compared to my artwork, y'all look like a toddler made it. And I ain't never had I was constipated. I made it to the top floor, but started in the basement, but still had the top floor when in my mama's basement. We're not adjacent, like Dr. Patient. No watch or bracelet. They too close to the chains that remained after docking slave ships on Wall Street. Back when the stock markets was those with darker faces. So race is the basis why the matrix complacent. Playing Monopoly with real people and property. And 300 years of my great-grandmama's free. Labor was how they made it. The world is yours if you take it. Gotta keep pushing on. We tired of getting harassed, incarcerated, and beat. It's stories like Robert Wagner's happening every week. The injustice didn't end with Rodney King serving protector, hurt and neglect. What's the role of police? I want to show you what the dash cam won't. That's innocent people being grabbed, slammed, and choked. It's like the 1960s, only 50 years later. 4 different police chiefs and things ain't changing with Smader. I guess because the president's black, I'm supposed to forget the struggle like I never been black. Like if it wasn't for Reagan, we never would have been peddling crack. Or like they ain't been making us sick with the medicine vaccines. For the people, by the people is the message. What they did to my brothers was aggression, or wasn't an expression of how they really feel until it's drastic changes. It's still no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
Huh? I said, no justice, no peace. No justice, just us getting harassed by police.
No justice, no peace.
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 I said, no justice, no peace. No justice, just us getting harassed by police.
Hey. No justice, no peace.
What?
No justice, no peace.
What?
Just us versus corrupted police.
Man.
And any given reason they will bust in your teeth.
Man.
Label it obstruction, now you're cuffed to a seat. And it seems like destruction won't cease. So I run with untamed like a pup with no leash. We see tears and blood till they cover the streets. Trouble gets no sleep, but to tuck in your sheets.
Boy.
Because if you make your bed, it's guaranteed you lie in it. So I tried to stay asleep and wait for 5 minutes. But my alarm kept ringing. I woke up to my calling. The golden Omaha'n, one of the chosen fallen, who got right back up. And now we're going all in. Our hearts warred in the streets and we're just soldiers marching. So I guess the next time that they pull me over, try to take the last from me. Funny thing, I pay him with my tax money.
I'm like, no justice, no peace.
No justice, no peace.
Hello, and welcome back to Expressions with E-Soul. I am your host, E-Soul, and with me I have my guests, LP, aka Lightpole, and Jonny Knogood. Now, I know what you heard was amazing, but did you really listen to what they said? Did you hear their words? Not only did you hear them, but did you feel them? The problem with today's society when it comes to the arts is that now that it's so accessible to everyone, that everyone can, display their art, more and more you're finding art of no substance. Now, I'm not saying that because I don't think there's substance there, that there isn't substance there. I mean, perception is a wonderful thing, but something of substance is something that, something with meat on the bones. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. Like the pop music you hear on the radio isn't really something of substance. Whereas a singer, songwriter in your local hometown, singing about their life, talking about their life, a spoken word artist, talking about the experiences that they went through, something real, rooted in this life, something more of substance. So I hope you enjoyed that. Today's topic is judgment. Now, it's a very touchy subject, wouldn't you say? I mean, a lot of people are like, they don't like to talk about it. And and it's funny, a lot of people also like to say that they don't ever pass judgment. They're like, I never pass judgment. But the thing that we need to really think about is, what is judgment? What is judgment? And I've found that there are two different types of judgment. There's judgment that, that is deemed as judgment by society, like, oh my gosh, why is she wearing those shoes with that dress? No, or why is she going out with him? Or why are they hanging out? Or, ugh, look at that car. That is judgment by society. However, actual judgment, I'm not passing a law. I am not sending you off to your fate. I am not that end decision maker for your life. So I can actually really never pass judgment on you, really, ever.
We're just the jury.
Exactly. And so I guess when we think about ourselves, we tend to judge ourselves a lot. And sometimes it's not by the right word of judgment, and sometimes it is, but not in the right way. So real quick, when I judge myself, I guess, I make sure I do it to, I use it by, I don't want to say society standards, but yeah, by society standards. And I use it to help me. I use it to further my growth and development in this life, to help myself and to potentially help others. That's how I use judgment. I don't ever pass judgment on anyone. Granted, I'm human, and there are times where I was just like, oh, those shoes. But at the end of the day, that is not in my character. What about you two? What about you? As far as judgment, how do you feel about it?
Yes, what I've seen from judgment is, in formal terms, it would be to form an opinion or draw to a conclusion from observation. So I think it's impossible for anyone to not be judged, because we all do it. When someone says, oh, we need to rid the world of prejudice, that's impossible. That's impossible. If I came in here with bloodstains, you would assume something happened. Right. You have to prejudge a situation, so I understand where we get confused at. So I feel we need more discernment.
Right, that's the key word.
To see things for what they are from a more realistic lens and a more logical perspective, so to speak.
All right. And what about you?
Most definitely. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's the two different energies that's behind what we call judging, is what some equate to judging and discernment. And discerning a situation is not necessarily having the ego and the underbite to it, but having the ability to assess a situation with emotions and, the insecurities, the unconscious, the subconscious mind not being at play, and kind of just seeing things for what they are. As far as like being in a society that judges you, I kind of use that to my advantage, because this is my book, this is my cover. And if a person chooses not to explore the contexts of my pages based off my cover, that's their loss, not mine. I was always told that the most interesting books have unusually bland covers. Ain't no need to no need to peacock, no need to show off so much, because people who usually do that usually pretty empty inside.
Right. They don't know how to process They don't have to process that, you know?
Novels and children's books.
Novels and children's books. Novels and children's books. That's funny to put it that way, you know? But it's funny. As far as living in the society that we live in, I mean, especially here in America, I mean, it's clear as day. We see the judgment that happens. We see how people judge other people. We see the lack of discernment, and we see it. We see it. But the one thing I would like to ask you is, what would you do in a situation, or what have you done in a situation where you could not speak on your behalf and judgment, in societal terms, was passed on you? I mean, I guess it's apparent it's apparent some of the things that we possibly could have gone through, you know, but I mean, from you, real quick, what would you say? Situation. What would you do?
Being prejudged.
To someone out there who's like you, you know, that can't handle it as well as you could.
Just even as an African American male, like that's what we're subject to. I'm 6'5", you know, so I got long hair. You know what I'm saying? I have some tattoos. I appear threatening. You know what I'm saying? I have a bellowing voice. So if I say, hey, hello, it's a possibility for some people. You know what I'm saying? The intimidatable are the ones who get intimidated. So it's an everyday instance, you know what I'm saying? And I guess you just have to know who you are.
You're right.
And the outside judgments really don't matter, because as they would say, only God can. So, like I said, we're all just a jury. We can't do anything. It's up to someone else that actually can pass the judgment. So,
right. And what about you, Luke?
As far as myself, I guess it just depends on the situation. If this is science, you know, and this is a quote-unquote a laboratory, you're gonna assess the situation based off the variables. And people believe that each circumstance is the same. And that's what people mess up with. Each circumstance is unique due to the variables at hand, which is why nothing happens merely by chance. It was a set of cause and effect. So when it comes to individuals who act that way, I didn't have people, you know, lock their car alarms, you know, hit their locks when I get out. I do the same thing to them. I beat them to it. I look at them like they look at me, hit my lock real fast. I mean, it's different things that you do, but you get to a point where it's kind of hard to say that racism plays a very big role when the president who's about to be coming out is black. So like you get this, you got the covert, the subvert, you got things that's indirect, you got systematic stuff that's going on. So it's always about appearances to most people, when they don't realize that underneath of scab is where the disease festers. You know what I'm saying? It's always things below the surface. That's the reason the Titanic got sunk, is because it thought it was just a little rock on the beginning. So that's just where the truth of the things get to. So like, you can only put yourself in a situation and handle it according to the variables.
You're right. You're right.
It's very difficult. I mean, like my brother LP said, I know time is running short, but like he said, you gotta know yourself. Because if an individual don't know themselves, know what ticks them and makes them mad, they can very easily be at the control of another person, when all they have to do is say a phrase, say a word, make a gesture, and then they got the ability to control and alter your state and your mindset. That's power. That's what racism is, and that's what people don't understand, is that it's very easy for black people to be prejudiced. But according to what I know of racism, it's not, black people cannot be racist because they're not in the position of structural power to, if they don't like a white person, to affect every aspect of their life. The opposite is true. Look at the judges, look at the juries, look at the people who wrote the Constitution, and when the Constitution was being wrote, where the black people were, where they at. So I think that we gotta always be very, very, very careful when we looking at scabs, when we looking at these surfaces and thinking that things is okay. Because that's when situations like Ferguson and all of these other things happen and people think it come out of nowhere.
You're right. You're right. And I definitely think it's important to look at your surroundings as well as yourself. because your surroundings tell you what's happening, what's going on. How are people reacting around you, and how are people reacting around them, and just outward, you know? How is the space around you? How is the world around you? And if you refuse to look at that, then you refuse to, I guess in a sense, grow, and you refuse to help others grow. But this has been Expressions with Esau. I hope you've had a wonderful time listening to LP and Jonny Knogood. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening, or day, or night, or weekend, or weekday, or whatever. But take care of yourselves.
Man, peace.